Why do white people resent Black excellence? Let's talk about it. Not all white people are racist, obviously, but there is a specific subset for whom Black excellence seems like a personal affront to them, right? It really bothers them when Black people succeed.
Oh, I do think that white people are absolutely jealous of Black people, specifically with the community, and also with like fashion and music and everything else that is appropriated. But by design of what whiteness is, it inherently lacks community.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel once again. So guys, we all know majority of white Americans, Indian and also Latinos, they went ahead and voted to punish Black people, and right now they are really in shock simply because they expected Donald Trump to treat some of the races in a given way, but Donald Trump is not doing so. Kindly guys, I want you to watch this compilation of video till the end, then I'll be back with more comment. All credits goes to the original creator of the video. I'm your host, Dash Lifestyle.
Well, I do think that white people are absolutely jealous of Black people, specifically with the community, and also with like fashion and music and everything else that is appropriated. But by design of what whiteness is, it inherently lacks community. And I think we're absolutely jealous of that. And I've heard biracial people say that they do see that difference in their own families. Because in addition to European cultures being more individualistic than cultures from Africa, South America, and indigenous North American cultures, the invention of whiteness in America erased a lot of ties to actual culture. So when I say like white people, Black community, I'm not talking about like Polish people or German people or Irish people. As I explained in my book, I just wrote the intro and I'm working on the conclusion today. Y'all keep me in your prayers. In the course of human history, white is a relatively new term. As we discussed in the introduction to this book, white is a North American term emerging from the 1600s as a term to justify the enslavement of Africans and squelch revolts from poor Europeans and indentured servants. Before this term, Europeans would identify with their nationalities. The Irish, Italians, Germans, French are all very different cultures. Thus, there is not the same communal tie to whiteness as there is for people from other communities. Further, since white was created to be a divider, a separator, it is not a happy identity. It is not something people want to admit they relate to. It doesn't have a rich, healthy history. Speaking as a white American who has conducted national level research on white Americans, we tend to say things like we have German, Irish, Italian, etc. ancestry, even if we have never been to those places. This is because all white Americans have ties to immigration, and because these identities are actual cultures, they do not have roots only in oppression. Now, we know who started colonization, right? So this is the book I'm trying to finish by Monday and send to the editor. There's a free chapter in my bio if you're interested on one of the unwritten rules of work. The book is predominantly about class, but I talk about 3 other identities that you can't talk about class without talking about these other identities, and race is absolutely one of them.
They bit their lip till it bled trying to keep from saying Serena was the best tennis player that ever lived. Still don't want to give her credit. Like, I could give so many examples of this. And in the midst of our resting, the Black excellence just keeps rolling on. I don't know this young man with the baseball, but I do know how they did that boy from American Idol, Jamal Roberts, and how Carrie Underwood did him. It's a perfect example. That boy was in that competition by himself. I could listen to him sing all day. I would be doing stuff and put his TikToks on so they'll just keep playing over and over again. That boy, that's God in that throat. He got God throat. He got God in his throat. Let's talk about just singers, for example. Y'all keep comparing Beyonce and Taylor Swift. I could go to any Black church in America and find 10 singers better than Taylor Swift. Like, white people, mainstream praises mediocrity because they feel akin to it. Beyonce is excellence. Beyonce done came to the Grammys multiple times, been 0 for 8. Watching people like Taylor Swift and whoever take Grammys that was rightfully hers, Adele and whoever. Even Adele had to get up there and be like, listen, I didn't beat her, but somehow I won. This shit ain't right. Then she won the best country album and y'all gonna take the whole category away? Interesting. The girl who Coco Gauff beat said she never thought she would lose to a Black player because she had been playing so good. She said she's not trying to be racist. You should have said, I never thought I could lose. Why is it stinging extra more because she's a Black player? She kicked your ass and you're mad about it. So much that you would turn the hatred on yourself and say, I messed up. I didn't play good enough. I made too many mistakes. You would turn the hatred on yourself because it couldn't possibly be that this young black girl whooped your ass. And that's exactly what she did. Listen, I don't know why people are pissed at us for having a good time. I hope they never find their way to help me find my draws side of TikTok. Because I don't know what's going on in Mississippi right now, but they down there cooking, baby. They down there cooking. They done sent Jamal to American Idol. They over there looking for their draws in their neighbor's bedroom, all kind of things. If y'all end up on help me find my draws side of TikTok, you're going to get stuck there for about an hour or two because, listen, it's hilarious.
Pose the question, why do white people hate black people so much? I have been in situations where I've been surrounded by nothing but white people, and this conversation has come up. The race conversation has come up, and no one ever has an actual reason as to why they hate black people. There's always these, oh, black on black crime, oh, they're lazy, oh, they're this, but it's not actually, there's no legitimacy behind their reasoning. It's just shit that they've heard and they're regurgitating. And so, long story short, it really comes down to there is no reason. It's a deep-seated jealousy, a deep-seated hate that, black people exude greatness. Black people are the great inventors. Black people are the beginning of the human race, the Eve gene. And white people have worked so hard to erase the history and erase the greatness of the black race. Down to even when things are invented, the majority of things that are invented were invented by a black person. But yet the white race has actually erased the original inventor from history and have put their names on things that they had no business putting their name.
Okay, this is just my opinion. People are welcome to disagree respectfully. And please keep your comments like 1 or 2. Anybody reading 5 TikTok comments? Anywho, what I will say is, this is how I look at it. And once I had this aha moment, I was like, dang, they right. Black excellence is problematic. Black excellence is basically a rebranding of respectability politics. One of my favorite shows to watch is Girlfriends. And if you ever go back and watch it now in the context of today, 2020s, and that show was filmed in the early 2000s, Joan's character, Joan, is at a law firm. She's doing well. She's got this beautiful house in LA. She's got a good friend group. Joan is the epitome of respectability politics. Her and William, the Republican. And it's funny because when I was hearing Maya talk about situations on that show, I was like, Maya was like seen as more fringe, more radical. But what Maya was saying on the show is what you would see on a black show today. So like if they were to rewrite a Joan character today, like completely redo the show in the current context, we'd be talking like Maya. Like the Joan character would be talking like Maya. Anywho, so respectability politics, when you think about it, it really centers white people. And you're doing all these things to impress white people with the hopes of limiting the hurdles and challenges that your race and perhaps gender brings to you. So you're going to change how you wear, what you wear, change your hairstyle to look like Condoleezza Rice. You're going to watch your language. You're going to avoid the habitual B. You're going to avoid using African American vernacular English. You're going to go to country clubs. You're going to learn how to play golf. You're going to do all these things that you think are going to make you accepted into white society. You're going to get the Ivy League degree, all these different things. And then we realize you could do all that. They don't care. They don't care. You still can get pocket watched. You still can get questioned despite doing all these things. Oprah, all the rich black people we know, all tell these stories about being filthy rich, rolling in dough, and still being in their race, still being the key piece to how they're treated. So with that, I think we were like, okay, this effort don't matter. We realized that. And the second part is that we also said, and more importantly, what we do does not, our humanity is not tied to what we bring to society. We still are humans regardless. That doesn't, like, we should be treated well regardless of what kind of job we have, how we speak, what we wear, how much money we have. Period. And so you think about Trayvon Martin, and you know, a generation before, there would have been a lot of black leaders saying, well, he shouldn't have been in that hoodie. He'd still be like, he wasn't in that hoodie. Whereas today, we were very adamant as a culture, as a people, it don't matter what he got on. He had a right to exist and to live and get his Skittles and his pop. That's it. And so we kind of dismantled that. Well, it gets reborn in Black excellence, where you're not looking for the white man's approval per se, but it still is us adhering to the standards of a white majority society. So we're applauding people that do well economically, that do well educationally. We're applauding all these things within the society. Do I think these things need to be applauded? Sure, I'm not saying that, because I'm always going to cheer us on. Please be clear. But sometimes people think that it comes off elitist, and that it really still tying our humanity to economics. The difference is now we're not looking for the approval of white people. We are celebrating ourselves, but it still is the same thing. We are still very much looking at our self-worth related to the economy and what we do in this capitalist system. Now, I'm not super progressive. I'm not all like, tear down capitalism. I'm not that. But when you write, you're right. And I do think they're right on the critique of Black excellence. In terms of talented teeth, whatever, W.P. Du Bois, what his intention was can be, we can argue that. But essentially, people took this and took it to mean that there's a group of elite blacks who are elite because of what they provide to the capitalist society, their money, and they're supposed to run everything, and everyone else, and to hell with everybody else. And so there's an elitism to that. There's a focus on wealth, that your value in this society comes from money. And so again, respectability politics was like, we think that we want to be able to be respected because of the value we bring, and Black excellence is.
Racism is about jealousy. If you think that's a reductive statement, please stick with me. When I say jealousy, I'm talking about insecurity, which is really what jealousy is, but I think it's easier to understand if I say insecurity rather than just jealousy. Because we know from appropriation that we are very jealous of other cultures. Why would we want to listen to the music, eat the food, wear the clothes, do the hairstyles, have everything, the language, but not give credit where credit is due and not uplift the people who created it? White people are so lost in feeling like they don't have a connection to culture, especially many of us who are very far removed from our European roots. And I think the need to fill that space and that insecurity of this lack of culture and lack of something to call our own is often filled with cultural appropriation and the idea that being white is superior. I was first introduced to this concept of racism being jealousy in college, and I can't trace it back to one particular scholar, but I would like to give credit where credit is due to that Black scholar. If you can find anything tracing it to one particular person, please leave that in the comments. I think it's important to think about racism in this way if we want to unlearn it. Because, as some people say who are non-monogamous, or anyone who's just working on their relationships, jealousy is an indicator that something is not quite right with us. It's an indicator of our insecurity and how we might be feeling. It's not about what our partner is doing or what someone on Instagram is doing with their life that makes us feel inadequate. It's about something going on inside. And I think we really need to interrogate that. What is it about people of color showing excellence, people of color maybe being more in touch with culture, people of color being more in touch with the environment, people of color making better food, and everything else that we envy? What does that trigger in us? And why do we have the need to put those people down? It's about jealousy. And if we can figure out that we're feeling that way and trace that feeling back to maybe some of our unconscious biases, I think it's a lot easier to start thinking about how can we unlearn that? how can I feel secure in my identity as a white person who has roots in maybe Italian and like other cultures, but like doesn't really feel connected to anything? How can I feel secure in myself to not want to put others down, whether that be racism or any other form of discrimination, or just plain hating on another woman because she's amazing? You know, I think this makes it seem like racism is very simple, but it also just helps us frame it in a way that's accessible to us. We know that dismantling racism starts with individual work, and personal growth is all about thinking about the hard things about yourself and the things and parts of yourself that you don't like. And jealousy is one of those things. No one wants to be jealous. It's an awful, awful feeling. And we don't want to admit that we're jealous. And we shy away from that, but it's something we can interrogate, and I think that is going to help us go a long way. Anyway, just my thoughts. Happy Juneteenth. I hopefully will speak about this more coherently in the future. Yeah, Black Lives Matter.
An East Asian woman came on this app and called black women cowards because we have decided not to be on the front line for these protests against immigration, mass deportation. She said that a lot of black women are cowards. We are cowards if we are not on the front line. And she said in another video that a lot of our ancestors were cowards, which is wild considering had it not been for our ancestors, you would not be here. Your parents would not have been able to immigrate here. It was the blood, sweat, and tears of my ancestors that, allows people to come to the United States of America for a better life. So to call us cowards is crazy. But I'm just curious, do other ethnic groups not recognize that black people are not slaves anymore? Like, we don't have to do a damn thing but stay black and die. Like, we are not your slaves. We don't have to do anything that we don't want to do. And to be honest, the reason why their attention is more focused on us opposed to their perpetrators, the people who voted for the mass deportation, the white man who's in charge, the reason why their energy is towards black people is because they see black people as inferior. Like, we are second-class citizens, we're low-class citizens, and they're superior to us. And the fact that all of the attention is on immigration right now and they are targeted, they just can't grasp, like, not us, but we're Asian, we're not black, but we're Hispanic, we're not black. Why is this happening to us and not the black people? But we're not black, but we're supposed to be okay because we're not black. And they don't like that right now the heat is on them. It's always been on black people. Still is. But they just don't like. Now, if black people were under attack right now, when I say black people, I mean black Americans, as much as, immigrants, they wouldn't care. They wouldn't say anything about us because they would feel like, well, at least, black people are getting attacked too. But because right now it's really bad for them, they have to blame us. They have to blame us. It's not our job to save you. It's not our job to save you. And you cannot manipulate us, gaslight us, guilt us, force us to do anything that we don't want to do. And calling us cowards is not helping your case.
I hate to be the one to say this, and I really do mean I hate to be the one to say this, but having a boss that's an older black woman is the most depressing psychological warfare that you could ever experience. And I hate that that's become a stereotype and a norm. My friend and I were talking this morning, and she was just talking about her experience that she had just had over the last year with her previous boss, and how she literally felt like she was going crazy. And she knew she wasn't tripping. And I had told her, like, over the last year, like over the last 3 years, to be honest, some of the things that I had been experiencing with my bosses, and I work in education, and we all know that's a woman dominated field. And then I live in Atlanta at that. So, and we know, like, it's nothing but black excellence here. However, when I tell you, like, the amount of projection that I've experienced and the trauma that I've experienced has been out of this world when it comes to having black women in leadership. Like, I was on 2 antidepressants because I literally felt like I was going crazy, because
of the women, the older women that was in leadership. Like, it was literally, I would come home drained every day, not from the work that I was doing, but from the relationships, from the cattiness, from the backbiting, from just the atmosphere of the workplace in general. And I'm like, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's, and I don't mean this with no shade, I don't know if it's a midlife crisis thing. I don't know if it's I hate my role. I don't know if it's I'm trying to prove something. But having a black woman that's a boss, like, it can literally be life draining. And then, like, you would think, like, oh, they're gonna, especially like being a black woman, like a younger black woman, like they're gonna show you like the game, like they're gonna put you on. No, like it almost feels like you're being hazed at that point, like literally. And it's quite as kept in education, like being in Atlanta. You know, everybody's a part of sorority, and that's another story for a different day. But it literally, I can't even explain like the mental warfare that it was like. And I just hate that has become a stereotype. And I pray that if I ever get a position of leadership, that I can break that role. And I'm like, Lord, if you ever give me that, I want to be able to help, and I never want to be able to cause that to anybody else. But I just hate that that's the case. And even the new school that I'm at, that my current bosses are white men, and it is completely different. It is so different. They leave me be. Like, they're actually encouraging me to go back to school so I can get a position of leadership. Like, having white men as bosses has just been a completely different experience. And I just hate that that's become the norm. And I know I'm not the only one has had that experience when it comes to having a black woman as a boss.
All black people have to do is just play the game. Yes, I have mutual love and respect for China, but let's not get it twisted. A lot of those creations and accessories that they're able to create in the first place is because of the materials they got from Africa. An abundant amount of accessories they use to create Gucci, Louis Vuitton, and other high-brand accessories comes from African countries like Congo, Kenya, South Africa, Nigeria, Ethiopia, etc. I don't want to say that an enemy of my enemy is my friend, because that's not exactly what this is. Like one of those intriguing characters in a video game. They're not exactly your friend, but they're not exactly your enemy either. They're willing to work and aid with you as long as you're willing to give them something in return. Hence, the massive trade and cultural exchange between China and Africa. And even though, yes, China is undoubtedly exploiting Africa, Africa is actually getting richer because of China in the first place. Best way I can explain the connection between Africa and China is China said, here, you give me this in exchange, I will help you not only become richer, but I will help you eliminate and to remove the grasp of Europe and America. I see the forced colonization and the oppression that Europe and America has on you. I will help you. In exchange, you give me these resources and you have to join my BRICS alliance. There's a reason why the economic and cultural exchange between Africa and China is so massive. There's also reasons why numerous of Africans are moving to China, sharing their culture, their language, and establishing relationships and friendships with other Chinese people. Same way with numerous of Chinese people traveling to Africa just for them to understand that Africa and China culture and traditions is similar to one another. It goes deeper than exploitation. There is a plan behind this, and China knows this very well. China knew that America was going to slip up one day, and it was only a matter of time, which is why they are trying so hard to establish a connection with Africa as a whole. When China gets richer, so does Africa. They are using and exploiting each other, yet at the same time, they are both benefiting from it. This is something that black people have to understand. Don't get me wrong, I understand the distance, as you should. I've been on Xiaohongshu for a fat minute. China knows more and well educated on black people than you actually think. But there is a deeper meaning behind all of this. This is actually incredible for Africa. If Africa can remove the hold that Europe and America has on Africa, Africa will boom economically. Major corporations like Tesla, Nike, and Shell will have no choice but to back out. Federal government entities like the FBI and the CIA will have no choice but to remove themselves. Aid China, aid Africa, and in the long run, black people will also come out of this unscathed. Think about it. If China is telling the world where these accessories and necessities are actually made, then this is Africa's chance to tell the world where these materials are actually sourced from. This will tip the balance of power, and if black people return back to Africa, this will give Africa the chance to become a continental superpower. Are you guys catching on yet? Okay. Africa wouldn't just be rich by natural resources, but with people multiplied. Tourism will exceed beyond limitation, and culture, economy, minds, and inventions will skyrocket throughout Africa. Black people understand the only benefit that we are getting out of this is liberation. I'll say this one more time. Play the game and play until your thumbs hurt on that joystick. Not just liberation for us in America, but for Africa as a whole. That's all I have to say on the matter. This is Onyx, and I'll see you guys very soon.
If we had slave owners about 5 generations ago, and 25% of white people in the South were slave owners, then that means pretty much every white person in the South had an ancestor that was a slave owner. Pretty much the majority. So to say that racism isn't a problem anymore, after only 5 generations where each generation they pass down these racist views to their children, just makes you completely blind. In order to make this country less racist, we have to first acknowledge that racism exists. We can't just avoid it. We can't just say, I don't see color, stop talking about racism, stop talking about the biggest elephant in the room, and it'll go away. We need a deep understanding of what white supremacy and white privilege is, and how every white person is benefiting from this. And once we can do that, then all of the working class, we can all unite. We can all stop having somebody to hate, and instead we can start hating the top 1%. The ones that are turning us into slaves. Ones who are taking all of our money that we're working hard for. The ones benefiting off of our labor and barely doing anything themselves. Until we can all come together as one and say, enough of this hate, enough of me not listening to my brothers and sisters that are suffering. Let me hear them out. Let me hear what I need to do. Let us work together. Then we cannot drive change in this capitalist country. We cannot fight for the working class if the working class is not united. The whole system is designed to make sure we're not united because there's powers in numbers. So you need people fighting each other so that they don't realize how powerful they actually are together, and they learn how to love each other. You guys do realize that the top 1% has so much money that if they wanted to, they could supply every single person in the United States with a home. But what are they doing with all of that money that they will never spend in their lifetime, that their great-great-great-grandchildren will never spend in their lifetime? And if you are one of those Christian nationalists, I have a Bible verse for you. It is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of God.
I'm in these non-toxic groups on Facebook where people live non-toxic lives and we're looking for non-toxic recommendations for the products that we use. And I made a Facebook post, this was a while back, and I was like, I'm looking for Black-owned non-toxic hair product recommendations for my entire family who has various hair types. And my post was just met with so many white women who are like, that's racist. Why are you looking for Black owned? I'm telling you, this post got endless comments full of hatred. Like, it just kept coming and coming and coming. You support Black businesses to get rid of the racial wealth gap. Like, it's seriously the least that you can do. It's the easiest thing that you can do. So I was like talking with these people in the comments, and they're coming at me and they're attacking me. And it brought out a side of me that I'm not proud of, because I called them what they were. And basically, my entire post got taken down. And so I didn't get any answers. But if this isn't a really good example of how white people don't want Black people to succeed, I don't know what is. And so if you have any good recommendations for non-toxic products in general that are Black owned, I would love for you to drop them in the comments, because I did get a couple of answers, but the post got taken down so suddenly that I couldn't write them down. And then some that we found that we ended up trying just didn't work out the way that we hoped. We have hair types ranging from 4A to C and hair like mine. But I'm always looking for Black-owned businesses that I can support in general, and products that are non-toxic are a big plus.
Child, I'll never forget. We were selling our townhome a few years back, And the black realtor looked at me and said, "You so black?" Now let me be clear. She wasn't saying it in an affirming way. But baby, I smiled and said, "Thank you. I'll have it no other way." Like, baby, you can't be serious. Joke's on you. What she really meant to say was, you haven't assimilated enough. And baby, that ain't never happened. So joke's on you. But that moment taught me a few things. One, some black folks, now let's be honest, it's more than a few, still throw out little digs to other black folks that don't affirm us, but affirm whiteness. Like somehow we haven't arrived. Child, please. 2, all skin folk ain't kinfolk. You better know that. 3, for some, assimilation has become this comfort zone. And it's sad because the comfort comes at a cost, at the expense of disassociating from parts of their blackness. Because you do know, the moment you don't do what they want you to do, they'll turn into Karens and Kens and strip you of your gray card or something like that. Child, it's a farce if you ever think they're going to let you in the club. So no thank you for me. You won't be dangling a carrot in my face. And then lastly, there's a whole lot of black folks still carrying around a shitload of internalized racism with no reconciliation in sight. You better know that. But baby, let me be crystal clear. I will always be black. I will always associate with blackness. Look black, sound black, hell, even smell black. I will always be proud, and I will always be unapologetic about who I am. Baby, it took me so long to shake off the smell of whiteness. And baby, I ain't never going back. And the takeaway is this. Don't let nobody, black, white, or otherwise, shame you out of your full blackness. Because your black is beautiful. It's powerful. And baby, it's enough. Always has been, always will. So drink your water. Stay rooted, real, knowledgeable, and black. And mind your black business. Happy Black History 365. And I'll see you next time.
So Dr. Umar has did his interview after we heard that his school was going to be taken. Seems like he was able to come up with that money. His school's not being taken. He's still in the process. But this is a 3-hour-long interview. And one of the things that he talked about during this interview was the state of the black community, right? And why we are having such a hard time building our own and like really uplifting the race like they did back in the day. Now, he said something interesting because I asked this question a little bit ago, right? Like, why were the people post-slavery able to be so upward mobile, right? Less violent, more classy. They built cities, hospitals, businesses, marriages were booming. Like, they were doing well for themselves versus the state of the black community now. And a lot of people say that it's like intergenerational trauma. They say that, oh, the reason why black people are the way that they are is because of, you know, that slavery trauma that was passed down from their grandparents and so on and so forth, right? And I'm like, but the people that came out of slavery, they seem like they were doing pretty good. So how is it that we're more affected now than they were? Even in Jim Crow, those people were still doing well for themselves. And even these buildings and towns and stuff that were built down, a lot of what they don't tell you is that these towns were built back up after they were burned down. They don't finish the story. So Dr. Umar says that black people right now, we're in a state of confusion because every black person is not on the same level, right? Every black person during those times were on the same level. There was segregation. And then on top of that, every single black person was treated the same. He said now you have black people who are doing well. They're multimillionaires. They're doctors. There's lawyers. There's broke ones. There's, you know, Section 8, welfare. Like, it's just the levels. It's levels to it. And so the black person who's doing well, who's educated, you know, doesn't really have a lot of empathy for the black person at the bottom, right? Whereas back in those times, everybody was viewed the same, right? Everybody couldn't come into the white business. Everybody couldn't do this. Everybody could be lynched. Everybody so-and-so and so-and-so. What happened to the black community? And that makes a whole lot of sense. I don't know if Black Wall Street wouldn't have never happened, but it's definitely something to think about that after desegregation, you did stop seeing the pop-ups of these black towns because now black people just moved into the white neighborhoods and they just were a part of the white hospitals and, you know, went to the white restaurants. And
So guys, I hope you have watched that video and you have seen how majority of white Americans, Hispanic, and also Latinos, they are really furious simply because they are not seeing black people complaining, or they are not seeing black people suffering in America right now. You know, these people, they went ahead and vote for this administration so that they can punish black people. They went ahead and vote for racism. They voted against their own interest. But right now, they're not happy to this administration. They're not happy to DJT simply because they feel like Donald Trump is not doing what they expected him to do. You know, these people, they voted for deportation so that they can see majority of black people being deported in America. But right now, we are seeing black people, they are not being deported. And these people that have been asking questions, why are black Americans not being deported? Instead, we have been seeing the Hispanic, their families, their spouse, they've been deported, their friends, they've been deported in America. You have been seeing how the Latinos, their families, their spouse, their friends, they've been deported in America. And also, we have been seeing also how white Americans, they are really struggling in America, how their farmers, they are going bankrupt, how they cannot even afford basic necessity. Majority of them, they are losing their jobs. So while these people that are going all these challenges and the struggle, they are seeing black people not complaining, black people not suffering. They are seeing black people, they are not even being deported, and they are asking questions. Why are black Americans not deported? Why are black Americans not complaining, or why are they not suffering? We voted so that they can be punished, but God came through for black people. So you know, these people, if they knew the history of black Americans in America, they wouldn't vote just to punish black people or to try to deport black people. So these people, if they knew the history of black people, they need to go and read the history of black people and see the reasons to why black Americans, they are not being deported. But God came through for black people. You know, these people, they wanted black people to continue suffering. But black people that have been suffering for over 500 years in America. So for black people, they know how to thrive in a hard economy. They know how to become successful even if the economy or the government, it is not on their side. Black people, they know how to thrive. But these people right now, they are suffering simply because they don't know how to thrive in a hard economy. They don't know how to make it while the economy it is bad. And that's why these people, they are so mad and furious about this government. It is not punishing black people the way they wanted to punish black people. So guys, I have some of the comment here that I want to read it for you and see what people, our black people, that have come out and say according to how they have seen the video. This one saying that we know how to roll with the punch now. Now we resting and moisturing. So this one saying that we told you all after last November we are resting. That wasn't a joke, that was a declaration. Our effort is for our own first. We move differently now. We minding our business, you mind yours. The struggle is new to the struggle isn't new to us. So you can see black people, they told these MAGA people, this Hispanic, that after voting they are going to relax. And is right now we are seeing black people exactly, they are doing what they said to these people, because these people, whenever they have been coming out with the protest, they have never, they are not seeing black people coming out and protesting with them. They have never come out and see black people coming out and complaining with them. They have never seen black people suffering. So these people, right now, they are starting to ask question, why are black people not complaining? Why are they not suffering? It is black people, they told them that they are resting. Right now, black people, they are resting and they are minding their own business. And that's why you are seeing black people, they are not on the street protesting. So right now, these people, they need to know black people, they played their part. The black people, they tried to warn them not to vote for this administration. They didn't listen. So right now, black Americans, they are relaxing. So this one saying that we have seen this movie before. That's why we are we are good. This one is saying that this is not our fight, it is the decline of white supremacy. Exactly. So this is not the fight, this is not black fight. And if they want a fight from black people, God is fighting for black people, and that's why you can see black people, they are relaxing while God is fighting for them. This one is saying that we are tired of them. They won the orange man. They won the orange man. We will let them enjoy their win in peace. Thank you for showing me I didn't need to be a Target, Starbucks, Walmart, etc. on Saturday. I used to say let's go shopping and dine out. Now I am in my garden growing vegetable and flowers, crocheting blankets, rereading books, bookcases of double stacks books. I love the library yearly book sale, enjoying bins of video and CD movies. Thank you, Maga, you did teach me I have enough. This one is saying that Black Americans are best at everything we do. We are good. We are God chosen. This one is saying that voting for hate, division, and suffering of others got us where we are now. Now you know. Yeah, you know. Now you own people are suffering with us. It's too late for us to complain. Now we are just spectators at this point. Exactly. So when black Americans, they have been going through the challenge and the struggle for over 500 years, these people, they have never come out and try to help black people. But right now they want help from black people, and also they want black people to come join them to protest and complain on this bad government. So this one is saying that as a black man, I didn't not vote for a dictator, Donald Trump and otherwise. I shouldn't be out there protesting because he didn't get my vote and never will. Exactly. So black people, they didn't vote for Donald Trump. So there's no need of them going out there and protesting, because black people, they didn't vote for him. The people who voted for Donald Trump, they're the ones who need to go out and try to correct their mistake by protesting or by trying to put government in position so that it can work for them how they want. So this one is saying that because of white people and other ethnicities, this is a crisis for FBA. It's a Thursday. We were born into diversity. FBAs are built for this. This one saying that thanks to social media for showing us. This one is saying that we aren't new to their politics. We just watch as we look for who to unite with. Exactly. Black people, they're just watching how these people, they are suffering right now, simply because they are not going to involve in their politics. Yeah, these people, they've been playing with black people for a very long time, but this time round, black people, they know their tricks, and that's why they are not joining them. So this one saying that the fact that my sister just won a pickleball championship made me cackling, scream, love you so bad. And I mean us all over the diaspora. This one is saying that I am older person that when we was children, we didn't have free lunch. It was 6 of us as children. My mom and dad made 8 and the lunch was so small. It wasn't enough at your. My mommy wrote a letter to the principal. She said, I can't feed this kid. He immediately, my black principal had a free lunch program for my mom, and that's how we survive empathy and love. This one saying that they never learn. China will take advantage of Africa countries just like every other country has before. This one saying that the short answer, you are doing all the complaining for us. So these are some of the comments that majority of black people that are coming out in the comment section. And also, guys, you can share your thought on the comment section. I'll be reading it in my next video. So kindly, guys, subscribe if you haven't, like this video, share, and also comment. See you on my next one, guys. Bye bye.